what's going to sell. We've been testing a lot of stuff where it'll be like a professional photo of the product or a carousel versus an unboxing that looks like a customer's just unboxed it and put something over on TikTok, like some wording and then a trending sound.
Yeah.
And the results are pretty good. It normally is the UGC that outperforms the professional polished.
Yeah, that's the word, isn't it?
Yeah.
I try and stay away from the polished stuff. Try and keep it raw. Ugly ads work.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, ugly ads definitely convert higher.
Yeah.
So welcome to the In Reviews We Trust podcast, the show where we explore the fascinating world of e-commerce and digital marketing. In today's episode, I have the pleasure of speaking with Callum Devine.
Yeah, that's right.
The CEO and founder of CB Social, as well as being a leading voice in social media marketing. Callum runs a couple of very successful D2C brands. Callum, thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast. Let's start with how you got here. What was your journey? Your journey is quite unique. I did some research on you and I was like, that's a bit different. Your path is different to the ones that most agency founders take.
Yeah, it's a bit up and down, but I think the main part of my journey that I've found when I look back is I think I was just gaining all different types of experience until I found something that I enjoy doing. So I, just before finishing college, I think I was in my second year, ready to kind of hand everything in. And I was quite driven at that point by money to just get some money in, help give my mum a bit of lodge money, and just get my own money in. We come from a fairly sort of low end background in terms of money, so I thought I'm just going to go for this apprenticeship and I'll hand my work in for college. That didn't happen, so I think I've technically failed college.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure. I've been to a couple of their speaking events and stuff. No one's mentioned anything, so I think I failed college.
Yeah.
I started an apprenticeship in digital marketing. My side hobby throughout, probably since about 11 or 12, being into gaming was like Photoshop and doing designs for people on, I don't know if anyone might have heard of it, on like Game Battles and stuff, which is like a competitive sort of website for, people who play games competitively. And I wanted to incorporate design with marketing. And I started off at a PPC agency, which was Mabo.
Right.
And like you read in that story, I was there for a year and then ended up getting sacked or let go for better.
Yeah,
for better
let's say let go.
Yeah, because it was a real true reflection of the quality of work I was outputting, and I think that was based on me not enjoying Google. Maybe it lacked that creative side that I needed potentially. Yeah. That's what I put it down to.
So which side did you focus on when you was at Mabo?
So there is it was solely PPC ads. Right. So it was all just Google back then. And, they did display ads and stuff. And I remember doing some designs for those as well. But it was mainly very analytical, very text-based and all that stuff. So I think at the time, because it lacked that creative side, I just wasn't invested enough in it. And that reflected in my work. So left there. And then another opportunity cropped up, which was working at a company, a sports apparel design company. So that's where...
Is that an e-commerce brand? Or...
They were like... No, they were like a sportswear design. They were like almost like an agency model, really. They did sell stuff on their website, though. Yeah. But their primary focus was designing kits for sort of rugby teams, football teams, and they would also then build an arm for their club shops.
Yeah.
Was there for a year and a bit. And I think I really dropped back into the creative side on that one and did manage to do kits for England Rugby League, Saracens. Wow. And it was a really good experience for a young lad to be in a box at the Saracens games and stuff, which was quite cool. Again, loads of experience and dabbled in a little bit of social media. And eventually was let go from there. Just my job role was kind of made redundant. And then, moved on to VisualSoft, went straight into the social media team. And that's where I suddenly realized, this is definitely where I want to be in this industry. It was like the creative side mixed with a bit of analytical stuff, sort of marketing strategy, and then budget handling and allocation and stuff. And it was the perfect combination of them all. And obviously I spent 2 years there gathering experience working with sort of higher ticket clients, bigger budgets and stuff. It's also where I met my partner as well, Beth. Well, that's, one thing that we're sort of grateful for is being able to pick up that experience that we wouldn't have been able to get on our own of working with those bigger budgets, higher ticket clients, and just the experience of working with larger teams in-house and stuff. So that was a really good sort of stepping stone for us to build a good foundation for CB Social. But yeah, met Beth there. We got on really well. Working at Visualsoft together and sort of, like I said, enjoying social media marketing and stuff. And we sort of suddenly, not planned, but Archie came along, which is our firstborn son. And we kind of dabbled with the idea of going freelance.
Yeah.
And, we used to have like little talks about it and stuff, but we'd never really done anything. And as soon as that happened, as soon as we knew that we were pregnant, it all happened quite quickly. And that was the push I needed, I think. That gave me the fire in my belly to sort of say, let's just do it now. And for some reason, I tell this story all the time, but I decided that a week before my paternity leave was going to commence, that was the time to leave quite a secure job role. And we've just not looked back since.
For most people, that'd be the time when you don't leave.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I think that happens for most entrepreneurs, that the timing is never perfect, and maybe you need something like that to push you. The birth of a child, or knowing you're going to be bringing a child home at some point, maybe is that push. Hold on, I've got to get on. I've got to actually change something here. Maybe that was the entrepreneurial, that trigger brought that entrepreneurial spirit out of you a little bit, that maybe was in there all the time, but being dormant.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting, because I'm always interested and intrigued by different people's entrepreneurial journey, how they founded that company and what was that spark. So, and I mean, that's a lovely story that your child, Archie, was the spark that got CB Social going. So talking about CB Social, obviously I know you guys because we work together with we have a few different clients. We have some co-clients, and you're a leading voice on the UK's LinkedIn digital marketing. You're always posting. And an interesting thing that always sets you apart from other agency owners is that you actually run a couple of D2C stores, and you actually created a product, which is I don't really get it, your controller.
Controllers, yeah.
Yeah. So what is that, and what insights does you running these stores alongside CB Social actually give you?
Yeah, well, if we touch on the controllers where we've actually made a product, it's the idea behind the design exists already. So the sort of retrofitting of a controller to give it more ability. Yeah. So what we do is, if you imagine, the best example is if you play Call of Duty, for example, you've got your thumb on a stick to run, and the other one is on your buttons to sort of jump. And you also have to have this thumb on the other stick to look around. But if we were to retrofit the controller and put paddles on the back, where these fingers are dormant on the back of the controller, I should have brought one to show you, and you could feel it. But sort of ergonomically design the paddle so it just fits within the grip. It doesn't feel like you're touching anything else. But if you can program those paddles to the buttons, it means you don't ever have to take your thumbs off the sticks. So in Call of Duty, especially when you're gaming competitively, every millisecond counts. If you can jump, look, and shoot quicker than the next person within a split second, you're probably going to win that gunfight. So the idea's been around for a while. There's a couple of big players in the game already, especially on the US side. But we thought there's nothing like grassroots created by gamers for gamers with a much more affordable price point. And that's where we thought we fit in well. That was our gap in the market. And in terms of experience, especially with that one, it's just gave me and my business partner Brandon an insight into absolutely everything that goes on, because that's fully self-funded. We have no investors yet. We're doing absolutely everything we can on our side manually, sort of stock tracking, the sourcing products, and then dealing with manufacturers in China. And
so you're learning about your customer's pain point on CB Social, really.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you know what, you've got that insight that, and that's probably the key word here, is you've got an insight into what their pain points are, but also how you can solve them with CB Social on the marketing that you do on behalf of your clients.
Yeah. And it's just an insight into how much that they'll be managing in their own business as well, especially when it comes to e-commerce, when they're sourcing products and they have so many other things to focus on.
Yeah.
It helps me understand how we position our service. And it's not just, we do paid ads on social media. It's like, we can do your social ads and you don't even have to talk to us for a month if you don't want to, but you know it's going to get done. And, you know, it's certain elements like that that may stand out more than others.
Yeah. I was an online retailer before I started reviews.io. Then one of the biggest things that flicked the switch for me was that this was before literally Trustpilot or any other review platforms were actually out there. And I actually saw how valuable product reviews were for the business that I was operating, which was called appliances.co.uk. And I realized that reviews actually help convert the sales, but there was no true platform out there. And that triggered me to start researching reviews.io before we actually created the brand. I really think that you've done it the other way. You had CB Social and then you created Controller brand.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, doing a different way around, but actually I think you'll learn things from the Controller brand to bring back into CB Social, which is unusual.
Yeah.
But I think it will give you a superpower.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope
but
so.
It's like I said,
Has it helped land any clients? You know, the insights that you've got from Controller, have they helped you land any clients?
When we mention it to clients that we have two sides of experience in running two separate e-commerce businesses, it's a real sort of standout USP for us, because it's like, not only have they got experience running the ads, but then we are looking at things like what's your margins on certain products, you know, stock levels and all the other elements that they're worrying about that will contribute to the marketing efforts that we make. We kind of know about or know of, and we can consider when we're making decisions on our end. So it has helped with a couple, definitely.
Here's one. Do you get pitched by other agencies on your Controller side?
Yeah.
And how do you deal with that?
Well,
do you listen to those pitches and then learn from those pitches, or do you just go, we're an agency, we've got an agency?
Not the social media ones. So the social media ones, we like pretty much obviously got covered, and we'll say, we don't need that. But other ones that we don't cover, so like Google Ads, you know, SEO, email marketing's done sort of in-house for both of them. So yeah, the social ones and email will just sort of, it's all right. We got that covered.
Do you find it funny if they come out with some like crazy bold claim?
Yeah, there's a few of them. I don't know where they've got their information from, but they'll sort of come at you with like a guarantee that we're going to get you this ROAS, you know, within this amount of time frame, or you'll have, you know, we'll give you £1,000 back, or, you know, we'll refund you whatever you pay as a service. I'm like, that's pretty bold, because, you know, without a doubt, we've had clients that have come on board and they've not worked as expected. So I wonder why or how that works, really. Part of me wants to try it. Part of me wants to say, yeah, sure, take over. And
I mean, we have done a claim similar in the past, but we have a system where we can, you know, monitor that conversion and the return on investment with reviews.io. I don't know whether they, you know, be able to track that conversion, and maybe that's just a claim.
Yeah, I think we could do that but we'd have to look at an account first, and we'd have to base that guarantee off of whatever they're doing right now at this stage. But to just outright say, like, you do get some of them where it's like, times 10 your return on ad spend, and it's like, that's a crazy claim.
So you work with all social media platforms?
Yep.
Which one's your favorite?
Favorite?
To work with?
To work with is still Meta, still Facebook and Instagram, yeah, because that's just like the holy grail of advertising. That's where we started, and it's just continued. So we still love that platform. But if it was from an organic perspective, it's TikTok. Yeah, all day. Yeah.
We obviously, TikTok organic is through the roof, and you'll know much better than me about the conversion from TikTok organic and the conversion from Facebook ads and Meta ads. What are you using to track conversion? Like, do you just use the pixel within Meta and the pixels from TikTok, the conversion pixels? Or are you using something like Triple Whale or?
Yeah. So we use a mixture. It depends what the client wants to do and how intricate their tracking is, but it'll be a mixture of blended kind of figures from the pixel on the website versus Google Analytics with UTM parameters and stuff. And then you've got other clients that will have triple whale, cost quite a bit of money. So it just depends which clients sort of have access to that or want to build that as part of their tracking system. But that's also a good one to get a blended kind of figure on everything across creatives.
I see a lot of the bigger brands using Triple Whale and Northbeam.
Yeah.
Another, good alternative to get that blended up ROAS and to get an insight into what's really converting.
Yeah.
We also, at Reviews, we have a thing that we've launched which is the checkout surveys to see attribution as well and to see whether that attribution then matches with what these other platforms are saying. It's not exact. I'm not going to lie. Some post-purchase, solutions are saying, what we've got is exact, but it's not, because people just click things and go.
Yeah, just to get out.
Just to get off it.
Yeah.
So the science there isn't exact, but it's first-party data. Some of it can be useful, but I think it's also got to be taken with a pinch of salt there.
I think it all is, isn't it, right now? Across everywhere. I don't think there's a true area that will show you definitive figures. I think everything will have its discrepancies, but I think that's a good feature to just get an extra, point of view of what's going on and where it's coming from.
What we try and do is share that data within the Reviews.io dashboard, but also with Klaviyo and other integrations that we've got, like Gorgeous and various integrations. So it'll pop up that, these guys say they came from Facebook or say they came from TikTok. And it, does help building that picture of the customer. I think it's just part of the picture, not the full picture.
Yeah, definitely.
And it shouldn't be relied on completely, because I think people might definitely just click things just to get out of it. I think a lot of people do. Google Ads, every man and their dog does Google Ads.
Yeah.
But, have you managed to differentiate, CV?
One of the main things, there's two main elements. The first one is the service delivery, in that we are purely paid social. We're paid and organic social, so it's all just social media. There's no upsells to like email or PPC or SEO.
Yeah.
There's no plans to ever do that ever. I think the idea is that we just build a sort of tight-knit team of creatives who love the mix of advertising and content creation, and that is kind of where we sit. So I think that's like almost like a sub niche, I guess, of a marketing agency. And the second one is probably more based on the journey and how maybe personable we are as an agency, in that, as cliche as it sounds, the relationships that we build are at the forefront of like what we do. And, every agency will say that, but I'm a true believer in, meeting, as many of our clients as we can sort of face to face.
Yeah.
Even small things, I just said clients, but we call them partners, small things like that, and the way we deal with them in terms of communication. And I think.
Talking about communication, how do you communicate?
Multiple ways. We slot in, what we say is we'll try and slot in like a puzzle piece. So if they're using Slack, we'll jump on Slack.
That's what I was going to say.
If they want us on WhatsApp, let's create a group with whoever your account manager is.
See, I like that. I like that. We've been trying to do this a lot. This is, like what you're saying, communicate on the channel that the client wants.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm thinking about a lot at the minute.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked that question for my own benefit.
Yeah.
Try and learn from you a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's it's nice for them to hear, look, we'll just fit in how you need us. Because the whole point of what we're doing is the service is, as itself, it's not rocket science, it's paid ads, but to get it up and running, and for them, we don't want them like managing us or the stuff we have to create as such. We just want them to give us the access we need, give us a point in the right direction with the onboarding document, and let us crack on. And we'll communicate sort of to you on the channel that you decide is best for you.
Yeah.
And that seems to work best. They're very, very busy, whether it's the sort of managing director or marketing manager, they've got so many other things going on. So, yeah.
So how do you attract new clients?
Right now, the main platform is LinkedIn.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, one lesson that we've had last year, we had a bit of a dip, to be fair, in Q4. And I think that was because we didn't do as much outreach ourselves as we should have. We were kind of just enjoying everything sort of coming our way. So that's something we're working on this year. But that's always the biggest struggle, I think. And that's something I hear from people who are just starting out to larger agencies, kind of who I've spoke to as well, who are just, it's the constant ongoing grind to just get people in the door, fill your pipeline and actually get people converted. But yeah, right now it's LinkedIn.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'd say LinkedIn is still one of our biggest revenue drivers. Mine, LinkedIn, and our staff. LinkedIn, we really push all of our staff to be active on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I think we do quite a good job, but it definitely does drive recognition for us. And I think it works quite well. I started last year. My 2022 New Year's resolution was to be more visible on Twitter.
Okay.
So I've been working on that a lot more.
How's that going?
It's very different. Very different. My voice on there is very different. There's a lot more memes. And,
a
lot more shit posting.
Yeah, I like that.
And I the thing I noticed on Twitter was that the thought leaders on there are a lot more vocal about probably things that you can't do it's seen as, although I probably do it on, I'm pretty outspoken on LinkedIn. I thought, I looked at Twitter and people are really outspoken.
Oh yeah.
So maybe I've had to up my game a little bit and be a bit more vocal to stand out. And sometimes that's worked and sometimes it bit me in the ass. One thing I will say is about Twitter, how do you think about...
Twitter for us is to be fair, it's not, we don't focus on every single social media channel technically because we just don't focus on Twitter at all.
I know.
No.
That's
we just, since the beginning, probably because we actually don't have any experience managing any clients on Twitter just yet. If there's anything that's been corporate, it's been more LinkedIn. But even myself on Twitter, I'm not on there just yet. It's kind of daunting for me.
We're running Twitter ads, and we're learning about them daily.
Yeah.
I'm tracking and looking at all the metrics daily. I really enjoy their ad platform. I actually prefer it over Facebook ad platform. The Dash, I hate I'm going to be honest, I don't like Meta's ad dashboard.
Me neither.
I think it's pretty awful and painful on my eyes at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer Twitter's dashboard over all the others by quite that's probably, most people have the opposite view. I know there's a lot of people that are like me and don't like the Facebook's dashboard, Meta's dashboard. But yeah, I actually, since Elon Musk has purchased, I've been putting more money into Twitter. I think there's an opportunity there, but I don't know whether that works for consumer goods.
Yeah, that's something that we don't have a lot of experience in, to tell you the truth, with Twitter side. And like I said, from my side personally, it's something that I've kind of neglected as a channel.
So if I'm running a makeup brand, I'm giving you $1,000 a month budget to do social ads, or $10,000 a month budget to do social ads. Where are you putting that?
Depending on the product, it's either going to be in Meta or it's going to be in TikTok.
What would the split be to start?
If you've got a product that has like viral potential, like it's that unique that you can really play on something and create content around that, you could probably go all in on TikTok.
Right.
The buying intent is there. It's just you've got to have compelling enough content. And to weigh up the options, if you then put it all into Meta, it's a lot more seasoned in terms of a platform. So the data it's got is greater, even post iOS 14.
So here's one thing. Do you shoot the ads?
Yeah, we do some stuff.
Yeah.
So this is probably one of the things to touch on as a tip for brands, really, which we can come back to. But is content creation seems to be kind of overtaking everything. So even for us, it started off as Facebook before iOS 14 came into play was sort of laser focused targeting. This is your exact customer. These brands, these people, they're interested in this, this, and this. And now it's like you can put a broad campaign up targeting females of 25 to 45 for some certain product. Yeah. And as long as you've got a banging creative, happy days. Facebook will know where to push it. It'll learn faster than any manual optimization you can make, pretty much 9 times out of 10. And it's a real focus on content. So then we thought, well, if that's such a big part of it, why don't we offer it? Because then we were starting to ask clients, have you got any user-generated content? So stuff like the user-generated reviews that you used to are insane, because it's a review plastered over something somebody has bought and then took a photo of, which you can't get a bigger testimonial than that. And it's the same, that content is a lot more investable, I guess, from a user's perspective, because they don't feel like they're being sold to.
Yeah, and nobody wants to feel like they're being sold to.
Yeah, it's more native to the platform as well. If you're doing vertical video, what's going to sell. We've been testing a lot of stuff where it'll be like a professional photo of the product or a carousel versus an unboxing that looks like a customer's just unboxed it and put something over on TikTok, like some wording and then a trending sound.
Yeah.
And the results are pretty good. It normally is the UGC that outperforms the professional polished.
Yeah, that's the word, isn't it?
Yeah.
I try and stay away from the polished stuff. Try and keep it raw. Ugly ads work.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, ugly ads definitely convert higher.
Yeah. It's a lot more relatable, because you're showing them the experience that they're going to experience when they buy the product or, sign up for the service or whatever it is that they're going to do. They've got a real life perspective.
Do you help with getting the talent? I know we've struggled with this, and is getting someone to be out there and talking about your brand. Do you think it's better that you finding a customer who's actually purchased the product, which is what we'd probably recommend?
Yeah.
Or do you try and get a pretend influencer to try and use the product?
There's a mix. There's a real mixed bag. It kind of depends where the sort of business owner or market manager wants to go with things, but them two options are the main options. If there's nothing that we can create in-house, so let's say one of our furniture brands that we have, someone doing outdoor furniture, for example, there's only so much content that we're going to be able to create. We could probably fit a few sets in our garden, but I don't think that's going to be preferable for the business owner. So, we'd say to them, well, who's bought from you recently? One real good tip is look at your tagged photos on Instagram. Look who's tagging you in stuff. Yeah. And try and look at what their setup is like. And I bet if you reached out to them and said, hey, thank you for purchasing. Love the way you've set up our product. Do you want this for free? Do you want a voucher? Just to get a video. You don't even have to say a word. Just walk into your garden at dusk, get a nice little video, panning across, and send us it. Yeah. And we'll give you a £50 voucher.
I think that works better than anything right now because it's genuine.
That's it.
And I think a lot of fast-moving brands caught onto that trend, but I think there's still a long way for it to go. So talking about trends, I don't think any chat or podcast right now doesn't mention what's going on with ChatGPT-3 and AI. How do you think that comes into play? What do you think? Do you think you'll still have a job? Or do you think AI is going to replace me and you and everybody else in the room?
I think we'll still have a job, I think. But can't be certain. But from our use of it, from a social perspective, I know different marketing channels will all have different experience. So I know I was at like a sort of scale event for our business, and someone mentioned that they'd actually got a client to first page in from position 7 to position 3 by getting ChatGPT just to write all of the content for the blogs and other keywords and stuff. And I resonate with that because Beth is much more skilled in copywriting. So she's like our sort of copywriter, content side, and now maybe more strategy. And she had a go before she fully integrated in the business as writing like content for a brand, and thought, I love copywriting. I love, writing content, coming up with ideas. Doing that for SEO is a different ball game. Having to write an article with like 200 words or 500 words, but you've got to get a certain keyword in like 30 times. It's just, how do you make that content enjoyable to read? Yeah. So ChatGPT will fire something out that flows impeccably within a few seconds. So that on that side, I think it's insane. For our side, for social, like when we've tested it, the example that I was chatting about is a good way to probably build a foundation from getting inspiration, or if you're having a bit of sort of writer's block, or you're struggling with content ideas. And I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Like you could probably put something in there to say, write me a social media marketing plan based off of a £10,000 budget over a month. Yeah. And it will probably spit something out. decent enough for you to start with, and then start adding your own elements to it and shifting things around. And it's like, if you don't have the experience managing that 10K,
Yeah.
it's like, what a starting point to be able to just gather all that info.
Yeah, I think right now it's very almost collaborative. You're working with ChatGPT to create things, but we're only 6 months in on it existing. What does that, it's terrifying what that's going to look like in the next 5 years.
Yeah, definitely.
I think right now we're very collaborative. I was talking to you earlier about that we were using a Reviews.io I was giving it a review and saying, turn this review into a product description. The content was awesome. It was absolutely brilliant. It picked out the bits in the review that were useful to the customer, and it actually made it sound great. And I'm like, this is the future of, product description. The product description was absolutely awesome. And I think it is going to help D2C brands build good product description.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's this thing where you could say, right, this is my marketing strapline. Give me a variation.
Yeah.
And that's, going to give out more stuff. I don't think it replace, you're still going to need that human person on TikTok and Instagram, doing the video and being authentic.
Yeah. I mean, someone mentioned that it almost might create a job role in that someone who knows how to use ChatGPT. I can't remember the job role that they said it was going to be. Something like prompt engineer.
Yeah, prompt engineer.
And I was like, it's like, knowing how to ask a question 1,000 times, really. It's like, as long as you know how to word things in a certain way, you could really get a lot of.
I did see on Product Hunt, somebody had launched a ChatGPT prompt app.
Oh,
it was it was the most popular app of the day on Product Hunt, and it was awesome. And you just literally, searched your different prompts. It was great.
Yeah,
I think it's going to change our industry profoundly, digital marketing industry profoundly.
Yeah,
and I need to learn more on what effect it's going to have on the wider industry, and even on the macro environment. Is it going to lead to mass unemployment? Is it going to replace? Copywriting is going to be gone, almost. Gone. You're going to be going and actually just prompting to get copy instead of writing copy yourself. And then you're going to become an editor. Yeah, it's just going to be editing.
You're just editing stuff. Yeah,
you're doing a 5-minute edit instead of a 5-hour writing the copy.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to, provide some challenges when we're all using that, and when we're all doing that.
Yeah.
Because the content will become the same.
Yeah. And is that then going to cause issues? Because, how many times can it write a similar piece of content in so many properly unique different ways?
Yeah. It takes me back to, I think, we was doing, years ago, I learned about, which was spinning content in different ways.
Yeah.
So you're spinning this one piece of content and spinning it in 5 different ways. Now you've got 5 pieces of content.
Yeah.
And I think that's almost like what, low quality link builders are going to be doing with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to happen. What's one of the biggest mistakes you've made in business, and what did you learn from it?
I'm going to say underselling and maybe going for the wrong type of partner or business initially. And I think, it's difficult to say you should always, sort of charge your worth and go for the bigger clients where we've kind of positioned ourselves now. But I think that can maybe only happen in time. And if I go back to the days where I just, packed my job in and there was a baby coming in the next couple of weeks, at that stage, it was just get what you can, get it in, and get working and get money through the door and prove that this works. It's like proving the concept.
When did you prove what was the libel that the concept was proved?
How long? Or when?
What was the client win? What was that little bit where you actually got in your car and you thought, you know what, I'm onto something here?
Yeah. I think it was when we probably got like 4 or 5 clients, when it could cover the bills, and it was like, wow, actually this is my job now.
Yeah.
I can cover my bills. bills were low at that point because we lived with best parents and everything. So we were really lucky with the support that we had. But yeah, I mean, that was the sort of realization that, right, I'm here now. It's got legs. Now we just need to make it run a bit quicker.
I love that when you see that on an entrepreneur's journey and you see the spark, what we spoke about earlier, that, I'm going to leave my job and I'm going to do that, and that thing that gave you the push, but then that thing that clicks with the product market fit and like, this is working.
Yeah.
And I love learning what that point was. And everyone's different.
Yeah.
Everyone has like that story, and every entrepreneur kind of knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That moment.
Boom,
yeah.
This works.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for young entrepreneurs starting out?
Well, I mean, I would, gather as much experience as possible. And I think at the start, you just got to make sure you remember that no matter what you're doing at the moment, as hard as it gets, you're just proving a concept. If you kind of remove like money from it, and, you'll see a lot of things on social where there's people earning X amount and they've built this in.
Yeah.
One prime example is probably someone like Carrie Rose, who built Rise at 7, which is an absolute monster of a company that she built in such a short space of time. That doesn't happen very often. And you'll have, other people on TikTok as well who share things about their journey. But
you've got a lot of people talking shit as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You've got these people saying, I'm, here's my Lamborghini.
Yeah, buy my course.
You can be a digital marketer like me too.
Yeah. There's just so much more that goes into it. And I think, like I said, if you revert back to just the simple form of you are proving a concept, can you deliver a service for someone, make it work, and get them to have a good experience and get results? And once you've done that, it should be a lot easier to start scaling or growing and start building your client list if you are a service-based business. But it's tough. It could take a while. Yeah.
Would you recommend anybody to go down your route of running a store as well? Or would you say, now you've done it, go, hold on a minute, probably don't do that route?
Yeah.
Or just focus?
It depends what the risk's like, but I would say go for it. If the risk is fairly low, I would say go for it. All you're doing is just picking up experience that later down the line. You have no idea how much that might contribute to your wins later down the line. So, I mean, if it was the other way around and it was like I was building an e-com store and we had to manage every channel, which we do, especially for the controllers, it's all just 2 of us.
Yeah.
And it's like we managed to make social work, or I did. And it's like, actually, if I've done this, maybe I can make social work for a couple of other brands, and you start to branch out. So I can see it working on both sides.
What's
It'd be really
the exit
beneficial.
for CB Social?
I don't know yet, Truthfully, it's still, I feel like COVID was like our little test run years where we were just kind of floating around and just gathering what we can. And now is the stage where I want to see where I can sort of take it for the next 5 years or so.
Head down.
Yeah. And just, tunnel vision.
Yeah.
It's the agency, 100% of my time. And just see where we can take it. And then, probably look to exit at some point, I think. And then venture back into the e-commerce space, I think. Just something I love about creating a product.
You're seesawing between the two.
Yeah, literally just going back and forth. Yeah. But I mean, this is definitely a passion. I definitely always have. I reckon I'd always do some sort of consultancy.
If you love it, you're better at it.
Yeah.
Because you're willing to spend more time doing it.
Definitely not in a rush to sort of, I want to scale it massively and then exit at this point. I think we just enjoy winning new business and
running the business.
Basically, yeah. And just creating, being creative. How can we sell this product that's relatively boring or not exactly standout-ish, and how can we make it pop on social, whether that's on TikTok or Meta, whatever, and Facebook, Instagram, that challenge it keeps it fresh every day, every week. There's
such a fast-moving space.
Yeah.
Right, what do you think happens to TikTok in the US and the UK?
I don't know. I know when I seen the news, it was banned off of like government official phones.
Yeah.
We mentioned this to someone else. I think that's more of a worry that government officials on government phones might have TikTok on their work phone. It was like, that's a bit worrying.
But obviously there's this talk about it getting banned completely.
Yeah. I mean, if it did happen, I don't think it would take long. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is a US-owned app that is just ready to flick a button right now.
Yeah.
It'll be there. It'll have investors all around. It'll have everything done. It'll just be ready to just go on.
TikTok clone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toktik. US.
I'm going to come in. That's it. Yeah. I'm registering that domain now.
So I think if it gets banned, another one will be there. It will copy the algorithm and everything. It will know how to.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right in that case. Do you think it gets banned?
No.
No.
I've seen a lot of content from their like CEO of TikTok and stuff.
Yeah,
and
did
he's
you see that when he was being interviewed by the government the other day?
And just a load of rubbish as well on that side. It was
Well,
the
they're asking
same
some
one with
weird-
Mark Zuckerberg. Like the questions they were asking, it was just
The questions were terrible.
Yeah.
I listened to some of it on the news and I was like, what are you
How do you... A, how do you not know this already? Or B, why are you asking that question? Because it just doesn't... I don't understand how they haven't got someone or like an advisory board from a digital perspective to say, what do you want to ask them in terms of the,
what do you want to get out of it?
Yeah. And I'll tell you how to word it,
Let's reframe
based
this
on their
question.
platform. Yeah. Just stupid stuff like that. But it's,
Definitely. That could be the pivot. That could CB Social
Consultancy.
advising government agencies how to ask social media companies questions.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if there is any government officials watching,
I'll invest in that.
Okay.
That's it.
I'll start reaching out.
Get it
start
going.
connecting with some people.
So is there a book, podcast or newsletter that you have enjoyed and taken value from recently?
My main one, because we're still in our infancy and I'm still learning, I'm trying to soak up as much as possible. I like watching the journey of other CEOs and business owners and founders who have grown to much bigger levels than we are, whether it's a product or service. So there's a couple there's the Lewis Morgan podcast. He was the co-founder of Gymshark. He's interviewed some really good people on his podcast, and then the CEO cast as well. So it's a very entrepreneurial focus, but I think even if you're in a career, you can pick up a lot of stuff from that, whether you're going to do your own thing on the side or...
Is Lewis Morgan the guy who left earlier?
He left earlier and then he's now invested.
Floated.
Not
floated, took massive investment.
Yeah, he's now he's invested in like Able Group, which is kind of the rival, and he's got loads of other stuff going on too. So
it's a really interesting guy. I like how I read some the things that I'm following on LinkedIn, but I've read some posts and he seems a really interesting guy. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Honestly, thank you so much for coming today and talking to me. It's been a brilliant podcast and I hope the listeners got really good value out of it. If you'd like to follow Callum, I'm going to drop some links in the notes. Callum's very vocal on LinkedIn. And if you're looking for a social media marketing company, I don't think you can go wrong by giving Callum a call. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.